Okay, guys, hopefully you could hear me. Yes, I am live here on Twitch. Yes, I am live here on Twitch, and let me see if I can find a link for you guys. I don't know if we have a link here. I think we should have a link. Hold on. But yes, I am here on the Twitch, if you will. I am on Twitch right now, live as we speak. Again, trying to find a link for you guys. I don't know if I can link this up. Don't know if I can link this up. Anybody know where you can link this or something? Trying to figure this out here. It's my second time doing it, guys, so I do apologize. Let's see. So yeah, I do apologize, guys, for this. I'm trying to figure out where is the link here where I can link this somewhere. Yeah, hold on for a sec. So, how do you link this, guys? Trying to figure out. Raid channel, nope. No, that's not it. I thought there would be like something, if you will. Hold on, guys. I don't want to mess anything up here. I'm trying to figure out exactly how to link this. Again, I do apologize. We go back to the stream preview. Again, trying to figure out where do you link this. The URL should be somewhere, it should be, Yeah, it shows me online there, so that might be how I do it. Let's see. Nope. It's kind of weird. Usually they would let you know how you link this. Oh, here we are, share. That's what I was looking for, the share button. That's what I was looking for. Got it. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't know you had to go over to the thing and do it that way. But yeah, I am here on the Twitch. Like I said, I'm on Twitch currently as we speak. There's a lot of people that have Twitch. I mean, Angry Joe, Animat, Channel Awesome. I'm sure Cinemasco has one and everything. But yeah, basically, I'm here on Twitch, just like I'm going to be for the next week or so on here on Twitch. And I'm going to be on VENMO with content and on Spotify, podcasts with content, because right now my YouTube channel, it's still active, but it has a strike against it. And what that means mainly is I cannot do anything outside of that right now. I can't post, I can't upload, I can't live stream, at least for a week. So there are videos already, ready to go. I have 3 videos ready to go and everything on YouTube right now, but they are private, because the rule is if you get a strike, the first strike or even a second strike, this is my first one, that if you get a strike, basically your videos go private. So like no matter what you have, your videos go private. And to me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. And that's what this live stream here on Twitch is. Just to talk to you guys, let you know what's going on. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just do not think YouTube, with all due respect to them, but a platform like YouTube, owned by Google or not, they are going to be in for a massive rude awakening. They are. They are going to be in for a massive rude awakening. And let me tell you why. Let me explain why that's going to be, guys. Let me explain why that's going to be. Because you have all these other platforms out there. You got all these other platforms out there, and basically, even though they're not as big as YouTube, they're growing. Some platforms have been around a lot longer than YouTube, at least by, I would say, a year. They've been around, for about a year. That's what I understand. That's what I understand. That they've been around for about a year, and apparently, they are basically taking what YouTube has done and improved on, and they are basically running with it. They are running with it, folks. And I can't, say any more than that. But it's true. They are running with it. They are taking some ideas that YouTube would have and improving on them in a big way, to where basically they are going to be looked at. They're going to be looked at basically, as that almighty that is looking down upon everybody and everything. YouTube. Okay, let me get some coffee here, guys. I'm kind of getting distracted here a little bit. Hold on. There we go. But anyway, like I said, a lot of these. What I was trying to say is a lot of these platforms, what they're doing right now, honestly, with you, is they're taking what YouTube has developed, and they're running with it. They are running with it in a way that basically is allowing them to basically make YouTube really think about what's going on. That's what's happening. They are making, YouTube think about what's going on right now as we speak. That is what's happening. Okay? That is what's happening right now. They are getting YouTube YouTube a run for their money. And Z Green, I think that's who just commented. Yes, it is. Nice to see you in the chat. The job search is going fine. Just to let you know, I have been in contact with the new grocery outlet here in Patterson. So it's going fine and everything. I've been back and forth. Right now they've kind of stopped hiring, but it doesn't mean they're gonna, stop hiring permanently. Basically, what's gonna happen is they're gonna hire again. They just want to focus on opening on opening day, which is actually in a few days, in 4 days, actually. You know, they want to focus on that. They want to focus on opening day, if you will. So, you know, they have no issue against me. Funny story though. I will say this is I don't know why I didn't get the voicemail until recently, but back on July 17th they did call me, and I ended up calling back, but they were already asleep. The person that left a message for me was already asleep, so that was my fault and everything. You know, so I left them a message on various places, texts, emails, Facebook messengers, you name it. And, you know, they've been in response. They did like my text message to them. So obviously they still know I want to work. Now, my oldest sister has actually told me that her job is hiring right now. They're hiring right now, that being her job. But, you know, but the thing is, you know, the hours they want, they haven't changed yet. The hours they want is 3 to 11 at night, 3 p.m. to 11:30 at night. And the buses don't run that late. I mean, they'll run at the 3 o'clock hour or before that. That's not an issue. They'll run like 2:45, 4:45, whatever, or 1:45, whatever, but they will not run after 8 o'clock, or at least around this area, 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever. So that's kind of hard for me, unless I take an Uber. Now, and that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, I can Uber home, but here's the thing. Uber does cost a lot, guys. It really does. Because when I worked at Target, you know, what happened is that there would be some times that the Uber, you know, would cost more than it needs to be. Sometimes it would cost like 45, 41, and all that. And look, I can understand that they need money and all that. That's not a problem. But the problem is sometimes the GPS or Google Map or whatever they use doesn't, you know, get updated enough, because there was one time we had a lot of rain out here, you know. But, you know, like I said, you know, one time it was like, what was it, earlier this year or last year, it was raining a lot, and it flooded out all the areas that Uber would take to drive you home, or to drive me home. So we went in circles. We went basically all the way into the back of Gustine, at the back of Gustine, if you will, almost going into Los Banos. And basically, we had to go from Gustine back over the way to Newman. And that was because the rain threw the driver off, basically. It threw the driver off. So, you know, it was one of those situations to where I'm like, you know, okay, I get it. You know, this is what you deal with. And that's why basically when things were changing up and and the bus scheduling was changing up as well, I basically gave them the schedule and everything seemed to be working out fine. And then they let me go, all because of the fact that I was given counterfeit money and I was counting it and everything. And they said I didn't check the 20s with the money machine, with the money checker, the money scanner machine. You know, I didn't check the 20s, and I'd been told at my job we only supposed to check the 50s and 100s. So I don't know. It was just so weird, is what it was. It was just so freaking weird, you know. But now I'm on the verge of probably working at a grocery outlet, maybe Kohl's. I've even been thinking about putting a letter together and, you know, typing it up and sending it to Walmart and trying to see if I can get back in there. Kind of like apologize for what happened, you know, a couple years ago, and try to get back in there, because everybody that I bump into when I go in there, they basically look at me they look at me and they're glad to see me, and they would love nothing more. They would love nothing more than to have me back. You know, that they would love nothing more than to have me back at Walmart, because they're just so glad to see me. Like, they light up. And honestly, it feels like, and I'm being honest with you guys here. I'm being honest. It feels like basically, since I left, things started to go downhill. You know, and you know when they let me go? September 20th, 2020, or around that time, during the pandemic. Yeah. So, and they had to bring in somebody from regional to help to make that happen, or something like that. So, anyway, that's what happened there. So I'm probably going to look into doing that as well if nothing else comes up. As far as the YouTube channel goes, and that's another reason I want to talk about this, because I also mentioned this. In my, in my podcast, and on VENMO, if you will. Yesterday, like I mentioned earlier, I have videos already set up, and one of the videos that I set up was talking about some of the new stories, some of the new NFSW erotic adult Sonic fanfics that I wrote. And I will admit I used a platform known as Sudo, S-U-D, which is spelled S-U-D-O, Write, W-R-I-T-E, Sudo Write. And just like any AI, service out there, just like any other AI service out there, it's still got a lot to learn. But I already published a couple of stories on DeviantArt, Ink Bunny, and archiveofourown.org, where basically, I did some stories. In fact, I'll look them up right now, and I apologize for any lag that might come up. I'll look them up right now. But I did a couple of stories. I did a couple of stories and everything. And one of them is called Rosemary Prower and Her Son Tails Become More Than Mother and Son. I forgot to add the word more. But become more than mother and son. And basically what it is that it centers around Rosemary creating this potion that allows her and Tails to melt into puddles of goo, slime creatures, slime blobs, whatever. They merge together and everything, and then they fuse together into one entity, a female called Rose Tails, who then who splits apart herself and becomes two Rose Tails, gets intimate with herself, and then later on melts down, back into a puddle, separates, reforms back into Tails and Tails and Rosemary, and let's just say things get a lot crazy from there. Things get a lot crazy from there. Very, very risque, if you know what I mean. Very risque, and I'm talking BDMS, hardcore risque. I mean, there are some stories that I've read from the adult perspective of Sonic, thanks to some viewers or fellow fans, to where Tails will be with someone like Loop or Styx, and they will have Tails literally put, even by their own, accord, have Tails put his hands around their neck and, go that route, if you know what I mean by intimacy. But I have that. And then another story I did is called Queen's Delight 2 Weird Latex Fetishes. And what that one is that it allows me, well, okay, let me get some coffee, guys. I do apologize. Let me get some coffee. But, yeah. But anyway, the other story I did was actually a story that I had I had actually created, I was working on last year. I started working on last year. And what it was is that it was a sequel, a follow-up to a story that a fellow Sonic fan, Blue Quill 86, did on fanfiction.net called Queen. The original was called Queen's Delight. And the original was a, how do I put it? The original was a, I guess you could say, the original was a crossover between Sonic Underground and Archie Sonic / Sonic SatAM. And what I mean by a crossover is that it involved Queen Alina, Sonic's mom from Sonic Underground, and Queen Alicia Acorn, Princess Sally Acorn's mom from Archie Sonic. Basically, it involved those two getting together, literally, for a late night romp, if you know what I mean. So what I did is I started thinking to myself, because the way it ended, they were going to celebrate the three-way engagement of Sonic, Sally, and the AI turned Link's Nicole. They were going to celebrate the three-way engagement. So, and basically, that's how the story ended. And to me, it's like, well, you left that on a cliffhanger, sort of. How do they celebrate? And I just said, I know what to do. And I was off to the races after that. I was off to the races after that, literally. Anyway, I started working on it a little bit. And then I discovered, like I said, sudo, right? And I just went with that. And, well, it helped me complete the story. And let's just say this story got so crazy creatively. It really did. Because what I involved in this story, ladies and gentlemen, if I can bring it up again, what I involved in this story goes way beyond anything that I think Blue Quill 68 would have ever imagined. Because what it involves is this. Get a load of this. It involves, and I'm going to bring this up, it involves, of course, lesbian sex and all that, rough sex of the lesbian, heavy BDSM, but it also involves, what I mentioned earlier, one putting the hands over the neck of the other, if you will, slapping of, the face and the other region, spanking, stuff like that. But it also involved what's known as unbirthing. That's right. It also involved unbirthing. And the way this happens is there's a scene to where they're just really going at it. Like you can consider this kind of the celebration, if you will, or one of the celebrations that they do. But anyway, there is a moment in here. Where they wanted to try a process called unbirth. Now, originally, I was just going to have that off screen with Sally and Nicole and Sonic because they were going to be off, at a resort, learning that. But I decided, I'll just put it in here and see what happens. And that's what I did. And basically, the process, as I described it, is when one queen enters through the bottom region, feet first, and slowly, inch by inch, her whole body goes, and slowly, inch by inch, her whole body goes in until she is inside the womb of the receiving queen. And that's what I did. And basically what it was is that Alina, I think it was Alina, because I'm trying to read here. Yeah, it was Alina that ended up being unbirthed into Alicia, even to the point that she presses her face out on the inside of the stomach, and you see a visage imprint of her, kissing, if you will, where Alicia then bends her head down and kisses back. But then Alina is in there for so long that an umbilical cord attaches itself to her. No joke. No joke about that. But yeah, that's the kind of story. That's the kind of story that, it became. And it became even crazier after that. It involved vac beds, them sleeping in a vac bed together, sealed up. Like I said, there's everything I mentioned, mummification, if you will, stuff like that. Just really took it to another level is what I did. I just took it to another level, and that's really all I could say on that. And I do have some other ones that I did work on that I'm going to try to post later. But I bring this up mainly because I did a video originally, and I don't know if I'll be able to upload the video here onto Twitch or anything. But I know I might have to. I know I'll still probably be able to do it later on YouTube if I can. I'm not really sure. But basically what I did is I linked people to the stories on DeviantArt and Ink Bunny. And the story with Rosemary and Tails on DeviantArt is one of those links is what got me pretty much struck for this week. Now, again, it's not a big deal because there are other ways to get around that. There are other ways to get around that. But this is why I'm on Twitch right now live talking to you guys. Mainly because of the fact that, pretty much, there's nothing else. This is the other secondary or thirdary platform out there outside of YouTube, that is going to allow you guys to try to make any kind of money out there. It is. It's basically the only other one out there that's gonna allow you to make any kind of money, and that's not a joke. That's not a joke whatsoever. So yeah, it is the only other one, like I said, that is out there that's gonna allow you to make some money. Period. So for the next week, as I've mentioned, I'm going to be using VENMO, Spotify podcast. I'm going to be using Twitch, of course, and and some other areas to give you guys some content, so that you have content for for the rest of the week. Because honestly, I didn't really have anything planned out for the rest of the week like I should have. So I'll make up for that next week, as well as going into the following week. Because once I resume my YouTubing again, within I'm assuming very late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, this upcoming weekend. Once I start resuming that, I should be good to go. I should be good to go because of the fact that I will have one more week. That's right, one more week, guys, before my mom has to go back to work. And that's about it. Next week, not this week, but next week is her final week off before, she ends up going back to work. So anyway, oops, didn't want to do that. Bring that up there. But so yeah, anyway, that's what's going on and everything. So just thought I'd let you know about that and everything as I do something here for a second. As I do something here for a second. Okay. Trying to see what's trending right now and everything. Okay. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. And again, like I said, next week is going to be really, really intriguing, if you will. It'll be really, really intriguing, if you will, going into next week. But that's what's happening, honestly, guys. That is what's definitely happening with me this week. I mean, this Twitch thing here, this is something that I want to do now a little bit more. just in case, monetization doesn't help out, with YouTube, because like right now I can't monetize even if I wanted to, because they took that away, a couple of days ago, and now I got hit with a strike. And what's interesting about that, guys, is and I want you guys to kind of help me out here. All right, help me out here for a second. So if I'm Patreoning, if I'm supporting somebody on Patreon, okay, if I'm supporting somebody on Patreon, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay, but if I'm supporting somebody on Patreon, okay, shouldn't whatever they're allowing you to be part of, if you will, shouldn't whatever they're allowing you to be part of, shouldn't you be able to what's the word I'm looking, shouldn't you, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think right now. Can't go there. Let me see. Hold on, guys. I'm looking up something here for a second. Here we go. Maybe that works. Or not. See, hold on. So, trying to find something that's more general discussion here on Discord for a second. Let me see here. Oh, here we go. General. All right. There we go. There we go. But anyway, what was that? Oh yeah. If somebody basically, if you're supporting somebody on Patreon, shouldn't, and one of the things that they allow you to do is download something, because of Patreon, doesn't that mean you yourself have the right to do what you want with it? I'm just saying, because I get the whole, hey, it's private, it's for you only, or hey, I want people to support me to get access. I understand all that. But if you're allowed to download it, then doesn't that mean you can do what you want with it? You're pretty much saying, well, I own this now, or I own the copy of this now, partially. I can do whatever I want, right? Shouldn't you be able to do that? Don't you have the right to do that? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but don't you have the right to do that? Because I think in a way you do. I mean, isn't there a rule that goes, basically goes along the lines of, possession is 9/10 of the law? So if I own my version or my copy, if you will, if I own my copy of something and everything, if I own my copy of it, shouldn't that mean, basically, I can do with it as I please? I'm just saying, don't I have the right to do with it as I please? I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying, because, when you spend money and everything, your own money to support, these people, shouldn't you have the right to, like I said, if they're giving you that opportunity to do, to do with what they give you the opportunity to do with as you please. I'm trying to find the right words here and everything. Don't you have that right? Because I think you do. I think you honestly do. I mean, if I'm somebody, okay, if I'm somebody that, I do have a Patreon, and support me there on Patreon if you want to, at BW Roses. But if I'm somebody that has a Patreon, and then I tell my Patreon followers, hey, you pay this much, and I'll let you do what you want, or not do what you want, but I'll let you have access to download this and have it as part of your folders in your computers, or have it to where you can put it onto DVD and watch it whenever you want. If I was somebody in that position, don't you think by saying, hey, you got access to do this, that I'm basically telling them, you can do, if you help support me with this and pay this much, you have the right to do with what you please because you'll own part of it? I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to justify anything, if you will. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't you have like the right, if you will, to do that? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, guys. Don't you have the right to say, hey, if I'm doing this and I get the opportunity to download such and such, that it gives me the opportunity to have 9/10 ownership of my copy and to do with it as I please? I think it does. I really think it does. And again, I understand people may not agree with that, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it, but still, I'm like, if I'm paying money, if you will, if I'm paying money to support you on a monthly basis, money I don't have to spend, then you're basically giving me this option. You're basically telling me, ladies and gentlemen, you could do with as you please. You could do with as you want. That's how I look at it. I don't look at it as, oh, you're hurting my financial needs. You're the one, ladies and gentlemen, that is telling people, courtesy of your Patreon that they're supporting, hey, you can do this. You can have this. You are the one giving them that okay. You're the one that's saying you're going to own this copy of it. That's yours to have. You're the one that's telling them that. Yeah, you can come out and say, please do not do this, and that's fine. And there are people that will respect that. And if people don't respect that and they get caught, then hopefully they will do, like I did, the right thing. They will take it down. And that's what happened to me one time. Not that long, but very recently. I had to basically re-upload a lot of things onto my Ink Bunny page, inkbunny.net, because all the original uploads of them got locked down because I got reported for stealing artwork. But I didn't steal artwork, since I basically paid for it in a sense by supporting the person. Now again, I did take them off, and I did apologize for what I did, because obviously, there are people, that will come out and say, look, I am giving you the right to do this, and you did do it the right way, but please do not showcase this to anybody else or show it out in public. And again, I think the reason for that is it goes back to, something that's happened before. You see, I've talked about some other stories and everything, okay? I've talked about some other stories. And one of them is by Trouble TRO, and one of them is by Joven16, but mostly Trouble TRO. And I talked about the story, one of the more recent stories called Science Experiment. And I was showing some footage and everything, right? They asked me to take that down. And I did. Because they basically explained to me that they want people to support their work to be able to see that. Not get it for free. And so I took it down and I rephrased it. I re-uploaded it, but with less images. I just talked about the story, or at least that chapter of the story. The thing is, though, my mindset, and I'm not alone in this, my mindset is, I paid for it, you're giving me the opportunity to download it, I should be able to do with it as I please. I shouldn't have to be told, hey, don't do this because you don't have the right to do it. You don't have, like you don't have the right to do it. You're not the one that put all this effort into it. And I understand that. But if you don't want people to download, certain things that you're offering to them because you're afraid they might get displayed elsewhere, what you need to do is not have the download option available until later, until you're done, or you need to go to a website like, let's say, Twitch, or let's say Newgrounds, or VENMO, or BitChute, and say, here. Or even use YouTube if you can. Probably not in some cases, with some of the things I've seen. But mainly go there, unlist the video, link it to your Patreon, and say, here. If you pay this, you get access to this. You just can't download it. Because now you have it on a platform of streaming, a video platform. The point I'm getting at, I have to drink some coffee there. The point I'm getting at, ladies and gentlemen, is that if I'm anybody in this situation, especially those that I've dealt with, I come up with a better solution. That's what I do. I come up with a better solution than what I've done. I come up with a better solution to the whole scenario, and that's about it. I don't just come out and say, hey, you support me, you can download this. I don't do that. I wouldn't do that. I would say, come support me for this price. I'll give you a link with a password or just a link to an unlisted video at VENMO, Newgrounds, or BitChute, so you can check it out there. And if you support me more, you'll get more access. Maybe even get a downloadable link to make the video as part of your own. And that's it. That's all you do. That's all you should do. But yeah, basically that's what happened with me when it came to Ink Bunny. And I think that's what led to me being demonetized almost around the same time. And again, I do apologize for what I did. I do really apologize. But you need to make it more clear, or at least come up with a better scenario, in my opinion, that will prevent people that won't be so apologetic, won't be so willing to fix things. You need to come up with something that's going to prevent them from basically doing any of this ever again. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here, let you know what's happening. Like I said, for the next week or so, for this upcoming week anyway, starting today, my YouTubing will be kind of limited to, no posting, no streaming, no uploading for at least, the end of Saturday into Sunday. And so by default, I will be going and using Twitch for live streams, maybe even some uploaded videos. I will be using VENMO at BW Rosas. You can check that out there. And I'll be using my BW Rosas Discussions podcast, which does audio and video, courtesy of Spotify, to upload content for you guys there as well. But anyway, though, guys, I am going to stop it here. Hope you enjoyed this first full-length live stream that I've done here on Twitch. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later.